We are here and we're having a good time. So happy to have you here. Tomorrow is the birthday of the one and only Bob Dylan, all the way from North Country of Minnesota, went to New York when he was 20, maybe. And if he hadn't done that, we would all be different people. So we are celebrating 80 years of Bob Dylan today. Lewis and Ledford and myself will be playing nearly exclusively Bob Dylan songs. I'm not sure. Well, I'm hoping at some point you're going to do that great tip jar number of yours so we can, work the room.
No, I'm only doing Bob.
All right. Thanks to Louise and Reed for hosting us here in their backyard here. And thanks to everybody who's been with this show all winter long, joining us from your backyards and your kitchen tables and your sofas and your Davenports, enjoying the show on your derriere without having to put on clothing if you don't want to. The beauty of live stream. Where are we? Let's start off with this one. All right. Throw my ticket in the wind. Throw my suitcase out there too. Throw my troubles out the door. I can't use them anymore. 'Cause tonight I'll be staying here with you. I should have left this town by noon, but it was more than I could do. I was feeling a little bit shattered, and your love was all that mattered. So tonight I'll be staying here with you. Is it ever any wonder a love a stranger might receive? You came on to me like rolling thunder, and I don't want to leave. I can hear the lonesome whistle blowing. I can hear the organ grinder too. If there's a poor boy on the street, won't you give him my seat? 'Cause tonight I'll be staying here with you. Get ready, oh tonight I'll be staying here with you. Oh tonight I'll be staying here with you. Thank you very much. For those of you who were curious about the arrangement, comes from the live album of the Rolling Thunder Review, which I believe he opens up disc 1 with that, doesn't he?
I have no idea.
Great.
But I know that's off of Nashville Skyline, right?
Yeah.
Boy, does he sing funny on that record.
How many people in this audience bought Nashville Skyline and were surprised when they heard that voice? Nobody's admitting to it. These are a lot of the hip people out there they just saw it all coming. They saw it coming. They saw it coming after Blonde on Blonde. There's only one way a person would sound, and that's the way he sounded.
And the thing is, you didn't buy it till like 1987 or something. So, I mean, I'm not sure what that means, but it's just like you should have been on to it a lot quicker than the rest of us.
It just all washed over me. What do you got?
Oh, I thought you were going to go into that one. Oh. You don't know that one?
No.
That one's off Bootleg 6. Ooh, excuse me. Once I held her in my arms. She said she would always stay. But I was cruel, yeah, I treated her like a fool. And I threw it all away. I once had mountains in the palm of my hand, and rivers that ran through every day. But I was a fool, what is it? I must have been mad, yeah, I never knew what I had until I threw it all away. Love is all there is, it makes the world go round. Love and only love, it can't be denied. No matter what you think about it, you won't be able to do without it. Take a little tip from one who's tried. So if you find someone and give you all of her love, take it to your heart, don't let it stray. One thing's for certain, you know you're gonna be ready for a hurtin' if you throw it all away. If you throw it all away. Sorry about that ending, but it's been so long, I had to draw it out, you know. I have not sang a song in front of people in a really long time, you know, so I'm very happy to be back for a while.
Speaking of the 80s, I'm not exactly, well, maybe as a kid I might not have been thought of as exactly the prime age to be a Dylan fan. That's before we knew that the music of Bob Dylan would transcend the generations. Maybe we didn't know that in the 80s. We know that now. And that Bob Dylan fans are of all ages. And every Bob Dylan fan then can have a story about the first record they heard. Some people in this room may even have been there when Bob Dylan came out. Some people first heard Another Side. Some people first heard Blonde on Blonde. Some people first heard Saved. Maybe they were the age that Saved was the one that came out. And they weren't of the nature of the people who said, I'm not into his Christian phase. No, because they were alive. They realized Bob was great, and they bought the first new record that Bob put out, and it was Saved, and they got into it. And now we all know that the Christian era of Bob is great. Some people used to think it wasn't. I grew up around people who said things like, yeah, I lost interest with Bob when he went Christian. Oh. First what he did is he reinvented country blues. Then he reinvented folk songs. Then eventually there in the late 70s he reinvented gospel music. And it was great. But that's not when I came across Bob. It was 10 years after that, after a meandering time with Tom Petty backing him up, that I was alive but didn't notice. He and Daniel Lanois got together in New Orleans and put out this record. And this is the first record, the first new Bob Dylan record that I bought. Broken lines, broken strings, broken threads, broken strings, broken idols, broken heads, people sleeping in broken beds. Ain't no use jiving, ain't no use joking, everything's broken. Broken bottles, broken plates, broken switches, broken gates, broken dishes, broken parts. Streets are filled with broken hearts. Broken words never meant to be spoken. Everything's broken. Seems like every time I turn around, something just hits the ground. Broken cutters, broken saws, broken buckles, broken laws, broken bodies, broken bones, Broken voices on broken phones. Take a deep breath, feels like you're choking. Everything's broken. Broken hands, broken plows, broken treaties, broken vows, broken pipes, broken tools, people bending broken rules. Hound dog howling, bullfrog croaking, everything's broken. Take a deep breath, it feels like you're choking. Everything's broken. Oh, mercy.
Oh, mercy.
And before Lewis you jump in there, this is the tradition of the show of Robert Sarazin Blake from the kitchen. Come to the kitchen table. After the third song, we always have the third song check-in. Because it's not only the people in the room, we get distracted by the people in the room because we haven't had people in the room for over a year. The show is a television show to going people everywhere, all over the world, in Ireland and in England and in Germany and in France and places far beyond that are also not in Europe. And we like to check in and see what people are saying out there in comment land. David, what's the word from comment land?
Well, Robert, it does appear that all of the kitchen table irregulars are here. That is, of course, the name of the regulars. Isn't that a Bob Dylan reference?
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Today, everything's a Bob Dylan reference.
I got a book. If we look long enough, we'll find every reference we need right here. We're missing 4 records, though.
And I watched last week, and I've got a paperweight. Outdoor shows, you got it. I'm sorry, David.
You're not even on the camera, Lewis. You're off the side. I'm sorry. That's my bad.
Does that mean I have to stop talking?
Yes. So we do have...
Does that mean I have to listen to you?
No. We do have Kimberly Sabin, leader of the Kitchen Table Irregulars Facebook group, back in the mix after visiting her parents.
She was away 2 weeks, but she checked in every week with us at the start of the show, and we appreciate that. She also is the person who curates a Kitchen Table Irregulars drink list. And if you become a Kitchen Table Irregular, which you are all welcome to be, then you know what the drink of the week is. And this week, she was going to do something Key West inspired because Bob Dylan's new record has a brilliant song called
Great
Key
song.
West.
Good song.
And what is going on with Kimberly?
Well, it sounds like at home they can't hear me. Hold on. I think I just fixed it.
All right.
Kimberly, we want to know what's going on with you, and remind us what the drink is of the week.
She's not put it in the comments?
Not yet.
Okay.
Right. It is good to see
We're gearing up.
that Terry Borneman is checking in, former council member Terry Borneman checking in all the way from the Seahome neighborhood.
Hey, Terry.
Wishing Jeff and Carol a happy anniversary.
All right. A couple of irregulars there. We were at their house 2 weeks ago.
And yeah. I think those are all the highlights. I'll bring in some more later.
All right, let's take it over to Lewis. What's going on?
Nice. Maybe I should tell anybody here that knows me. There's a few of you out there. I know that you're not used to seeing me play a ukulele. Well, I've been diagnosed with ukulele fever. And you're going to be seeing a lot of this if you're going to see me. So just let you know. I'm going to be the guy that brings it with him everywhere, you know?
Is this because you flew to Hawaii at the very start of the pandemic?
Has nothing to do with Hawaii.
Okay.
I've never been to Hawaii. But,
Okay.
you know, interestingly enough, I won't tell the whole story, but this guitar, ukulele. See, I'm new. I've just recently been infected with ukulele fever. This was built by a woman named... Jenna Yanagi in Hilo, Hawaii, and this is her first instrument. Bought it from Devin Champlin, Champlin guitar. I can say that on air, can't I?
Absolutely.
Even though it's not a business, you know. So anyways, so I'm only playing this today, you know. Leave now, take what you need that you think will last. But whatever it is you wish to keep, you better grab it fast. Yonder stands your orphan with his gun, crying like a fire in the sun. Look out, the saints are coming through, and it's all over now, baby blue. The highway is for gamblers, better use your sense. Take what you have gathered by coincidence. The empty-handed painter on your streets is drawing crazy patterns on your sheets. The sky too is folding in on you, and it's all over now, baby blue. All your seasick sailors, they are rowing home. All your reindeer armies are all going home. The lover who just walked out the door, taking all the blankets from your floor. The carpet too is moving under you, and it's all over now, baby blue. Leave your stepping stones behind, something's calling you. Forget the dead you've left, they will not follow you. The vagabond who's at your door, standing in the rags that you once wore. The car strike another match, go start anew, and it's all over now, baby blue.
Beautiful.
You know, my favorite version of that song is in the movie Don't Look Back, when he's sitting in the motel room right before the concierge comes up and yells at everybody. And he's sitting on the floor, and Donovan does colors or something. I don't know what he did. But then he's like, "Well, you play one, Bob," and then Bob just like busts out Baby Blue, and Donovan's cool. I love Donovan, but
Black is the color of my true love's hair has a certain punch to it. But when followed by "It's All Over Now, Baby Blue,"
I mean, I love that version. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Make sure I'm in tune for this one here.
80 years old, Bob Dylan is going to be tomorrow.
I'm going to send this one out to ex-Bellinghamster Michael Costello.
Gemini.
Is he a Gemini?
Got to be, right?
I would imagine that Michael is a Gemini, although we know that Bob is. Bob's definitely a Gemini, and you're a Gemini.
We should call Michael and ask
And
him.
I'm a Gemini, and Megan Yates is a Gemini. If you find a folk singer in Bellingham, there's a good chance they're a Gemini. There's just a really good odd on that.
Oh, I forgot to say, I'm changing my pronunciation to like the astronauts did it in the 60s. I'm calling it Jiminy from now on. That's the way they did it. They called it Jiminy. Like the cricket.
Michael put together a Bob Dylan birthday show at the 3B in the last millennium. And I did this one then. And once I learned it, I had it word for word memorized ever since. Never have had to revisit it at all. It's not hard to remember this one once you get it down. Well, the festival was over, and the boys were all planning for a fall. The cabaret was quiet, except for some drilling in the wall. The curfew had been lifted and the gambling wheel shut down. Anyone with any sense had already left town. He was standing in the corner, face down like the jack of hearts. Moved across a mirrored room, set it up for anyone, he said. Everyone commenced to do what they're already doing before they turned their heads. He walked up to a stranger and he asked him with a grin, "Could you kindly tell me, sir, when does the show begin?" Walked over to the doorway, looking like the jack of hearts. Backstage, the girls were playing 5-card stud by the stairs. Lily had 2 queens, she was hoping for a third to match her pairs. Outside, the streets were filling up, the windows open wide. A gentle breeze was blowing, you could feel it from inside. Lily called another bet and drew the jack of hearts. Big Jim was no fool, he owned the town's only diamond mine. He made his usual entrance, looking so dandy and so fine. With his bodyguards and silver canes and every hair in place, he took whatever he wanted to and he laid it all to waste. With his bodyguards and silver canes were no match for the jack of hearts. Rosemary combed her hair, took the carriage into town. Walked into the side door looking like a queen without a crown. She fluttered her false eyelashes and she whispered in his ear, "Sorry, darling, that I'm late," but he didn't seem to hear. He was staring at the butterfly who just drew the jack of hearts. Lily was a princess, she was fair-skinned and precious as a child. She did whatever she had to do, she had a certain flash every time she smiled. She'd been with many men, had lots of strange affairs, with men of all walks of life who had taken her everywhere. But she never met anyone quite like the Jack of Hearts. When I did the intro, there's a bit of tongue-in-cheek to that because it's a very long song. It's very hard to remember it. And I just looked over there. There's certain members of the audience who know the lyrics better than I do, who know that I forgot the verse. I think I've seen that face before. Ben Jim was thinking to himself, maybe down in Mexico, a picture upon somebody's shelf. Then the crowd began to stomp their feet, the house lights that had dim. In the darkness of the theater, there was only Jim and him, staring at the butterfly who just drew the Jack of Hearts. The hanging judge came in. I noticed he was being wined and dined. The drilling in the wall kept up, and no one seemed to pay it any mind. He was known all around that Lily had Jim's ring. Nothing would ever come between Lily and her king. Oh no, 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 nothing except maybe the Jack of Hearts. Lily took her makeup off, took her dress off, and buried it away. How's your luck run out, she asked. I guess you would have known it would someday. Be careful not to touch the walls of a brand new coat of paint. Glad to see you're still alive. I know you're looking like a saint. Down the hallway, footsteps were coming for the Jack of Hearts. Rosemary started drinking hard and seeing her reflection in the knife. She was tired of the attention, tired of playing the role of Big Jim's wife. She had done many bad things, even once tried suicide. She was looking to do one more good deed before she died. She was with Big Jim, but she was betting on the Jack of Hearts. The backstage manager was pacing around by his chair. There's something funny going on, I can just feel it in the air. Went to get the hanging judge, but the hanging judge was drunk. The leading actor hurried by in the costume of a monk. There was no actor anywhere better than the Jack of Hearts. Lily's arms were wrapped around the man she dearly loved to touch. She'd completely forgotten about the man who hounded her so much. She said, I missed you so. He felt it was sincere. Behind the doorway, he felt jealousy and fear. Just another night in the Jack of Hearts. No one knows the circumstance, but they say it happened pretty quick. The dressing room door burst open, and the cold revolver clicked. Big Jim standing there, you couldn't say surprise. Rosemary right beside him, steady in her eyes. She was with Big Jim, but she was betting on the Jack of Hearts. 2 doors down, the boys finally made it through the wall. They cleaned out the bank safe. It was said they made out with quite a haul. In the darkness of the riverbed, they waited on the ground for one more partner who had business back in town. Well, they never went anywhere without the Jack of Hearts. David Penderlofgren over there. Next day was hanging day, the sky was overcast and black. Big Jim laid covered up, killed by a penknife in the back. Rosemary on the gallows, she didn't even blink. The hanging judge was sober, he hadn't even had one drink. The only person on the scene missing was the Jack of Hearts. Cabaret's quiet now, the sign says closed for repair. Lily'd already taken all of the dye out of her hair. She was thinking about her father, who she very rarely saw. She was thinking about Rosemary, she was thinking about the law. Most of all, she was thinking about the Jack of Hearts. A song from Blood Off the Tracks that seems like maybe it could have been on Desire.
On the track.
Yeah, it was on Blood on the Tracks, but it seems like it could have been on Desire. I even mentioned... Exactly. It's right in there. It's right in there. Bob Dylan loves to write a Western, and he's written many of them. Do you do any Westerns?
I'm crazy about the man who shot Liberty Valance. We're talking about movies, right? Anyways, I'm going to move on if it's all right. Bob Dylan has probably had more influence on me as a player and writer and what have you than anybody else. I mean, it's multitudes, to coin his, or to borrow his phrase. But if you had to say, okay, which one, I would say it's Bob. But the funny thing is, until Robert, another Bob, asked me to, you don't mind if I call you Bob, do you?
Charge ahead. You already have. I'm getting used to it now.
Anyways, Robert asked me to play, and I'm like, yeah, I'd love to. But then I'm like, I don't know any Bob Dylan songs. I mean, I know them all well, but I never learned them, and I never played them, really. One, which I'm not going to play today. But it gave me a couple of weeks to just sit with his words and his songs like I hadn't before. Because when I was a kid learning how to play, I had the music book, something to 70-something. And I played along, but they didn't stick in my head. I didn't keep playing them. But it was just like that, going back 40 years or whatever, reacquainting myself with this music. And it was a pretty cool experience, being the fan that I am. But one thing, while I was doing this, because I wanted to point out, Bob Dylan has the best website of all of the musicians out there, mainly because he has all of his lyrics there and all of the commercials. Everything he's got to sell you is all there. So from that standpoint, it's a very, very excellent website we could all learn from. But what I like is the lyrics are all there. And then not only is it just the lyrics, it tells you when he first played it live, and then when he last played it live, and how many times he's played that song in between. So for like a super fan or whatever, that's pretty cool information. So I picked a song that he's never played live, ever. And it's always been one of my favorite songs. I got the words because it's long. I think it might be as long as Lily, Rosemary, and the Jack of Hearts. That's the line I know, the Jack of Hearts. That's all I know.
Not even Lily Rosemary.
Well, that and the Queen Without a Crown. But anyways, so I picked a song called Ballad in Plain D, which hilariously I'm going to play in C. And for you music nerds out there, they think that's a hilarious joke. So anyways, it's a beautiful song, and I remember reading years ago, an interviewer asked Dylan, how much of himself does he put in his songs, and he said there's one song that I recorded that was really true, and I wasn't very happy with it, and I don't ever play it again. Now, he didn't name the song, but I think it's this one. I once loved a girl, her skin it was bronze. With the innocence of a lamb, she was gentle like a fawn. I courted her proudly, but now she is gone. Gone with the seas, and she's taken. Through young summer's breeze I stole her away from her mother and her sister, though close they did stay, each one of them suffering the failure of their day. With strings of guilt they tried hard to guide us. Of the two sisters I love the young. With sensitive instincts she was the creative one. The constant scapegoat, she's easily undone by the jealousy of others around her. For her parasite sister I had no respect, bound by her boredom, her pride to protect the countless visions of others she'd project as a crutch for her scenes and her societies. Myself for what I did, I can't be excused. The changes I was going through can't even be used for the lies that I told her in hopes not to lose the would-be dream lover of my lifetime. With unknown consciousness I possessed in my grip a magnificent mantelpiece, though its heart being chipped, noticing not that I'd already slipped to a sin of love's false security. From silhouetted anger to manufactured peace, answers of emptiness, voice vacancies, till the tombstone of damage read no questions but please. What's wrong? What's exactly the matter? And so it did happen like it could have been foreseen. The timeless explosion of fantasy's dream. At the peak of the night, the king and the queen tumbled all down into pieces. The tragic figure, her sister did shout, "Leave her alone, goddamn, you get out." And I, in my armor, just turning about and nailing her to the ruins of her pettiness. Beneath a bare light bulb, the plaster did pound. Her sister and I in a screaming battleground, and she in between, the victim of sound, soon shattered as a child neath her shadows. All is gone, all is gone, admit it, take flight. I gagged twice, doubled, tears blind in my sight. My mind, it was mangled. I ran into the night, leaving all of love's ashes behind me. The wind knocks my window, the room it is wet. The words to say I'm sorry I haven't found yet. But I think of her often and hope whoever she's met will be fully aware of how precious she is. Ah, my friends from the prison, they ask unto me, how good does it feel to be free? And I answer them most mysteriously, are birds free from the chains of the skyway?
Louis Ledford. Kind of like you with Lily Rosemary. What's wrong? What is exactly the matter is the only lyric I remember from that one. For those of you who are joining us from all over the place, from this kitchen table here to your kitchen table there, there's something going on here that I want to tell you about. It's starting to rain. We don't know exactly how that's going to happen, how that's going to play out. One thing we know is that we should have known this might happen, because here in the most northwest corner, the most northwest city, the most northwest state, in the lower 48, it rains. It rains when it says it's going to rain. It rains when it does not say that it's going to rain. It rains. We're used to the rain, and we're under the tree. We're grateful for the tree. We even have a whole rain setup that we're not using. And it could so happen that we'll have to stop the stream and move to the rain setup. I'm looking on the horizon over Bellingham Bay, and I'm seeing various, I wouldn't call it blue, but I'm seeing various lighter shades of gray, and I'm hoping that we're going to stay in this stream here.
This is not rain. We can handle this.
This is not rain.
This is a real rain. This is not a hard rain. I was about 2 seconds late on that.
I love the Dylan interview with Studs Terkel, where Stud says to Dylan, he says, I really love your song there about acid rain. Really wonderful you're singing about that. And Bob says, no, man, it's not an acid rain. It's a hard rain.
I love Stud Terkel's name.
Yeah, right.
And his writing. He was look him up.
Senor, can you tell me where we're headed? Lincoln County Jail or Armageddon? Seems like we've been down this way before. Is there any truth in that, Senor? Senor, do you know where she is hiding? Or how long we're gonna be riding? How long must I keep my eyes glued to the floor? Will there be any comfort there, Senor? There's a wicked wind blowing on the upper deck. There's an iron cross hanging down around her neck. There's a marching band still playing in the parking lot, but she held me in her arms and said, forget me not. Senor, I can see the pain waking, I can smell the tail of the dragon. I can't stand the suspense anymore. Can you tell me who to contact there, Senor? Well, the last thing I remember before I stripped and kneeled was a train load full of fools bogged down in a magnetic field. A gypsy with a broken flag and a flashing ring said, son, this ain't a dream this time, it's the real thing. Senor, senor, the hearts are as hard as leather. Give me a minute, let me get it together. Just gotta pick myself up off the floor. I'm ready when you are, senor, senor, senor. Let's disconnect these cables, overturn these tables. This place don't make sense to me no more. I'm ready when you are, senor. Thank you, everybody. In our live audience here, they're sticking it out in the rain. They're enjoying outdoor concerts the way we do in the most northwest corner of the most northwest city, most northwest state, and that is they've all put on various layers of wool and plastics and have put umbrellas over their heads, and they've stayed listening to the concert. That's the way we do it here. And I know there's people who are watching this show who would not relate to that sort of behavior. They're listening from places where if it rains, they don't stay out in it. Well, if you don't stay out in it here, you don't ever stay out in it at all. So that's just the way we roll here. Welcome to our wet kitchen table.
It's hardly raining. The cool thing about Bob Dylan, he can write some of the longest songs which have like extremely complex and interesting wordplay, but he can also write blues songs. I got this graveyard woman, you know, she keeps my kids. She's my soulful mama, you know, she keeps me hid. She's my junkyard angel. She always gives me bread. Well, if I go down, you know, she's bound to put a blanket on my bed. Well, when that pipeline is busted and I'm stuck on the river bridge, cracked up on the highway along that water's edge, she comes rolling down the thruway, ready to sew me up with lead. Wait a minute, that's not right. 'Cause if I go down, you know, she's bound to put a blanket on my bed. Well, she don't make me nervous, she don't talk too much. She walk like Bo Diddley, but she don't use a crutch. She keeps that 410 all loaded with thread. And if I go down, you know, she's bound to put a blanket on, put a blanket on my bed. Well, I need a steam shovel, mama, to keep away the dead. I need a dump truck, mama, to unload my head. She gives me everything and more, like I already said. And if I go down, you know, she's bound to put a blanket. She's gonna put a blanket on my bed. All right. Yeah. Now, of course, that song is called From a Buick 6. What else would it be called?
Well, Mercy is the first new Bob Dylan record that I bought. But it's not like with a person would go into a store at age 14 and buy Oh Mercy unless they had come across Bob already. So the story for me begins with a all-women's Catholic high school in Seattle where there's a spring fling dance that my mother is not able to attend because she's broken her leg skiing.
He's got me. If he got you guys, I mean, I'm on the edge of my seat. I have no idea where this is going.
Combined with the fact that I have a wonderful older sister who likes to watch movies, and one day I came home from school and she was watching a movie called In with the In Crowd. It's kind of a silly movie. I came home, she was starting to watch the start of it, and I left the room, but I came back into the room at the end of it, and there was a song playing. Because the thing about it is, and I wasn't there, but I've come to understand in the 1960s, in certain households, teenagers were not allowed to do certain things. That now, in Bellingham, teenagers are allowed to do and more. And more, such as at that time, teenagers were not allowed to go to a kitchen table and eat dinner in a shirt that did not include a collar. And that was a thing that happened then that I have heard about. I did not experience it myself. And likewise, parents were trying to keep their children from listening to music that was obscene. And some parents, like my grandmother, when their daughter, who could not attend the spring fling dance but gave her friend $10 to enter the raffle, and then her daughter won the raffle, and the daughter won a record called Highway 61 Revisited, and she brought it home and put it on the turntable. The grandmother said, "No, you will never play that album again in my house." So mom did not get to listen to that record. She got to look at it, and if you're going to have a record that you can't listen to but you can only look at, that's a good one. That's a very good one. I mean, maybe not quite as good as Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, but it's still very good because there's Bob in that flowery polka dotty shirt, and he's sitting there, and it's like, what is going on with Bob? You know, you just have to ask yourself the question. And then you read the liner notes. Then you read them again. And then you read them again. And then you read them again. Especially if you can't listen to the record. Can you imagine the experience of reading the liner notes and then not being able to listen to the record? My mother kept that record with her. It ended up in a very small amount of records she still had in her collection in the late 80s. I came home from school. I'm maybe 12, 13 years old. I'd already gone deep into the Beatles. So I was hip to that there was a world beyond top 40 radio. And I was starting to find it for myself. Of course, I was exposed to a world of music from my father already. But everybody must go down their own path of finding things, even finding things that are right there in front of them. Such as Highway 61 Revisited, which had been in the house all my life growing up. But it wasn't until I came home from junior high school, 7th grade, and my sister's watching In with the In Crowd, and I think this movie's stupid. I'm going to go listen to the Beatles in the other room. But the Beatles records are short, and by the time they were done, I came back out, and my sister was still watching the movie. I watched the end of it, and the story is that in this In with the In Crowd, there's a boy neighbor and a girl neighbor, and at the end of the movie, the girl neighbor has become a hippie. And she's wearing this buckskin fringed outfit, and she walks into the boy neighbor's house. And I don't know if it worked that way because I wasn't there, but it could be that somebody in 1967 went to school in a Letterman's jacket and a very straight outfit, but came home from school in a buckskin fringed leather dress. I don't know if it was that quick of a transition, but it was a pretty quick transition in this film. And she's carrying an album called Bob Dylan Highway 61 Revisited. And she puts on that record at the end of the movie, and luckily they let the Bob Dylan version play, and I said, I have that record in my house. My sister left the room, and I went and put Bob Dylan Highway 61 Revisited on the turntable, and I haven't been the same ever since. When you're lost in the rain in Juarez, and it's Easter time too, and your gravity fails and negativity won't pull you through. Don't you put on any airs when you're down on Ramore Avenue. They got some hungry women and they'll really make a mess out of you. on housing Project Hill. It's either fortune or fame. You must pick one or the other, though neither one seems to be just what they claim. And if you're looking to get silly, you better go back to from where you came. 'Cause the cops don't need you, and man, they expect the same. Sweet Melinda, the peasants call her the goddess of gloom. She speaks good English and invites you up into a room. And you're so kind, you're so kind, you're so kind and careful not to go to her too soon. As she takes your voice and leaves you howling at the moon. All the authorities, they just stand around and boast about how they blackmailed the sergeant of arms into leaving his post and picking up Angel, who just arrived here from the coast. Who looked so good at first but left looking like a ghost. I started out on Burgundy, but I soon hit the harder stuff. Everybody said they'd stand beside me when the game got rough. But there was nobody there, there wasn't even anybody there to bluff. I'm going back to New York City, I do believe that I've had enough. I'm going back to New York City, I do believe that I've had enough. Thanks, Mom.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just thinking, one thing that definitely puts Bob in sort of a small category
That includes Bob.
is just how different his music was in his career. I mean, even in a short career from like 1960 to 1970, how much things changed. And I don't know if there's anybody, I mean, he puts him in the category of somebody like Duke Ellington or Miles Davis or Louis Armstrong. I mean, like serious shifts, seismic shifts in where he's coming from. But there's always stuff that stays there through the whole thread. It's really, I mean, I don't really run into many young people. But if somebody ever asked me, like, who should I listen to? It's like, Bob Dylan, man. because you know, especially now, I mean, he's got 60 years or something, right?
60 years.
Of just tons of music to wade through. And there's something good on everything. And the reason I brought it up is I'm going to play a song that's from a very different period. And it's like, to me, it's like, is it the same author, you know? If not for you, baby, I couldn't find a door. I couldn't even see a floor. I'd be sad and blue if not for you. If not for you, baby, I'd lay awake all night until the morning light comes shining through. If not for you, if not for you, my sky would fall.
We're looking forward to the
What,
comments.
Bob? You don't
out
like
there.
the way I'm doing it? He jammed our signal, you know. Bob owns the internet. I don't know if y'all knew that. try again. If not for you, my sky would fall, rain would gather too. Without your love, I'd be nowhere at all. I'd be lost on my knees, looking for a clue. For you, my winter would have no spring. I wouldn't hear the robin sing. I wouldn't hear a coo. And it's true, if not for you. Standing on a corner, suitcase in my hand, looking for you. Woo! I thought you'd like that.
I did. Yeah. We're about halfway through the show right now. Thanks everybody for being with us here at the kitchen table that stretches absolutely everywhere that there is internet connections. And I do understand there's a package being presented in the House and the Senate, and it's going to pass, bringing broadband internet everywhere. So let's stay focused on that. So happy to be here. And I do want to send this one out to our hosts, Reed and Louise, because although the song is called Visions of Johanna, Louise plays a major, major role. And if you're watching at home, please find your way to the digital tip jar. If you're watching here, you can either find your way to the digital tip jar or you can find your way to this suitcase that I've now closed because of the rain, but you can find your way after there and put in a $20 bill. We do appreciate your supporting us. We are surviving as artists in the times of COVID. You've heard of love in the time of cholera. Well, we are artists in the times of COVID. And we appreciate everybody being here with us. Whether you're joining from your kitchen table in Guelph, Ontario, like Judy and Bellingham, or if you're joining from your kitchen table in St. Louis, like my good friend Henry, or if you're joining us right here for the first time and you had no idea that your local troubadour was performing every Sunday at 5 o'clock, well, now you know. Even the people on Marine Drive are going to know. They live on Marine Drive out here in the most northwest. They live a little bit beyond the most northwest corner, the most northwest city of Bellingham, and it's so pretty out here on a Sunday. They don't even care that it's COVID because it's so pretty out here. And they got a view of the bay, and they make nice soups and things like that on Sundays, so they don't really think of turning on the stereo at all. They just look at the view. That's all they need to survive out here on Marine Drive. But now they know that RSB, that's me, Robert Sarazin Blake, is doing a show every Sunday, 5 o'clock. It's like Garrison Keillor, but it's not as funny, and there's a lot more songs by the same guy, that's me. But there's always a guest as well. And today the guest is Louis Ledford. What the hell? Maybe we'll have him back again. And this is my chance to let you know that we do the show every Sunday this summer, moving around from backyard to backyard, and we still have a few empty Sundays. So if you have a backyard and a place where 30 friends can stretch out and not breathe into each other's face, maybe we're coming to your backyard. Make a comment when you make that contribution on the PayPal, and then I'll know to look you up. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thanks to Louis Ledford for being here. Where were we? Yes, people were looking forward to me playing Visions of Johanna when I mentioned it 35 minutes ago, and now they're wondering if I'm actually going to do it. And it's just like the night to play tricks when you're trying to be so quiet. We sit here stranded, that we're all doing our best to deny it. And Louise holds a handful of rain, tempting you to defy it. Lights flicker in the opposite loft. In the room, the heat pipes just cough. The country music station plays soft, but there's nothing to turn off. Just Louise and her lover are so entwined. And these visions of Johanna, they've conquered my mind. And the empty lots where the ladies play blind man's bluff with a keychain, and the all-night girls whisper of escapades out on the D train. You can hear the night watchman ask, is it me or them that's really insane? And Louise, she's alright, she's just near. She's delicate and she seems like the mirror. Makes it all too concise and too clear that Joanna's not here. The ghost of electricity howls in the bones of face, and these visions of Joanna have taken her place. A little boy lost, he takes himself so seriously. He brags of his misery, likes to live dangerously. And when bringing her name up, speaks of a farewell kiss to me. Are you sure? He's sure got a lot of gall to be so useless and all, and uttering small talk at the wall while I'm in the hall. Oh, how can I explain? It's so hard to get on. And these visions of Johanna, they keep me up past the dawn. Inside the museum, infinity goes up on trial, saying this is what salvation must be like after a while. And Mona Lisa must have had the highway blues. You can tell by the way she smiled. See the primitive wallflower crease, and the jelly-faced women all sneeze, and the one with the mustache says, geez, I can't find my knees. Jewels and binoculars hang from the bowhead of the mule, and these visions of Johanna that make it all seem so cruel. The peddler now speaks to the countess who's pretending to care for him, saying, name me someone who's not a parasite, and I'll go out and say a prayer for him. But as Louise always said, you can't look up much, man, as she herself prepares for him. You see the empty cage now corrode, where the cape of the stage once has flowed. The peddler, he steps to the fiddler, he steps to the road, says everything must be returned which was owed. on the back of a fish truck that loads while my conscience explodes. Harmonicas play skeleton keys in the rain, and these visions of Joanna, they're all that remain.
Can I dedicate that song to somebody too?
Lewis let me do that one. He wanted to do Visions. I said, I want to do Visions.
I'd like to dedicate that to my friend Scott Schmidt back in Richmond, Virginia, who we used to sing that song together.
You did?
Yeah.
Tell us more about Scott. I've not heard about Scott. I've heard most of your old buddy stories.
Scott's one of my oldest friends, teenage friends, and we share a great admiration for Bob Dylan. And Scott actually knows all of the songs and plays them. But yeah, we just spend many hours listening to Bob Dylan records as wayward youths. And yeah, and he liked that one especially, and I do too. So. Hot chili peppers in the blistering sun, dust on my face and on my cape. Me and Magdalena on the run. Well, I think this time we shall escape. Sold my guitar to a baker's son for a few crumbs and a place to hide. But I can't get another one and play for Magdalena as we ride. No, Lord es mi garita, Dios nos vagila. Soon a horse will take us to Durango. I got on me my vida. Soon the desert will be gone. Soon you will be dancing the fandango. Past the Aztec ruins and the ghost of our people. Hoofbeats like castanets on stone. I dream at night of bells in the village steeple, and I see the bloody face of Ramon. Was it I that shot him in the cantina? Was it my hand that held the gun? Come, let us fly, Magdalena, for the dogs are barking and what's done is done. Oh, Lord es mi garita, Dios nos vagila. Soon a horse will take us to Durango. I got on me my vida. Soon the desert will be gone. Soon you will be dancing the fandango. At the corridor we'll sit in the shade, watch young Torero stand alone. We'll drink tequila where our grandfathers stayed as they rode with Vila into Torreon. Then the padre will recite the prayers of old in a little church outside of town. I'll wear new boots and an earring of gold, and you'll shine like diamonds in your wedding gown. The road is long and the end is near. Already the fiesta has begun. The face of God will appear with serpent eyes of obsidian. Was that the thunder that I heard? My head is vibrating and I feel a sharp pain. Stay close to me, don't say a word. Ah, can it be that I am slain? Quick, Magdalena, take my gun. Look on that hill, that flash of light. Aim well, my darling one, for we may not make it through the night. Ah, Lord, es mi garita, Dios nos vigila. Soon the horse will take us to Durango. I got on me, my vida. Soon the desert will be gone. Soon you will be dancing the fandango.
Every now and then I meet somebody who will say something like, I have no regret. No, not something like, they'll say specifically, I have no regrets. And I don't believe them. Oh, well, I don't, that does not inspire me. I have a lot of regrets. One of my regrets is that when this record came out, I wasn't smart enough to enjoy it. I did not enjoy it. This record came out, and I should have, and I didn't, and I was wrong, and I have a regret. But luckily, with all great, well, let's just say with all Bob Dylan records, you can enjoy them later. You know, sometimes you're ready for what he's doing, sometimes you're not, but it's important to loop back around and check in.
That is super true.
I did a tour of the Yukon, and I loved it so much. The Yukon, I did 12 dates in the Yukon, and some of you are thinking, there aren't 12 cities in the Yukon. No, there are not 12 cities in the Yukon. There's 2 cities in the Yukon. There's Whitehorse, and there's Dawson City. Whitehorse, population around 20,000 people. Dawson City, population around 800. And otherwise, we played places that were called communities of 200 to 300 to 400 people. Myself and the great Canadian performer C.R. Avery, we did a co-bill tour of the Yukon. And when we were driving between Whitehorse, Yukon Territory, and Dawson City, Yukon Territory, we said, let's just listen to a whole record top to bottom and not talk. It was a 6-hour drive. We could both do that and do a lot of talking, so it was a good idea, you know, just to not talk. And we listened to this record here. Oh, I got it. I'm walking through the summer nights, the jukebox playing low. Yesterday, everything was moving too fast. Today it's moving too slow. I got nothing left to burn. I got nowhere left to turn. Don't know if I saw you, I would kiss you or kill you. Probably doesn't matter to you anyhow. You left me standing in the doorway crying. Got nothing to go back to now. The light in this place is so bad. It's making me sick in the head. And all this laughter is making me sad. The stars have turned cherry red. Playing my gay guitar, smoking a cheap cigar. The ghost of our old love has not gone away. Doesn't look like it will anytime soon. You left me standing in the doorway crying under the midnight moon. Maybe they'll get me, maybe they won't, but not tonight and not here. There are things I could say, but I won't. I know the mercy of God is near. Riding the midnight train, I've got ice water in my veins. I would be crazy to take you back. It would go against every rule. You left me standing in the doorway crying, suffering like a fool. When the last light of daylight goes down, brother, you won't see me no more. I can hear the church bells ringing in the yard. I wonder who they're ringing for. I know I just can't win, but my heart won't give in. Last night I danced with a stranger. She just reminded me you were the one. You left me standing in the doorway crying in the dark land of the sun. I'll eat when I'm hungry, I'll drink when I'm dry, I'll live my life on the square. And even if the flesh falls off from my face, I know someone will be there. It always means so much. Even the gentlest touch. I see nothing to be gained by any explanation. There are no words to be said. You let me stand in the doorway crying, who's all around my head. I believe 1998 Time Out of Mind. I'm loosely correct.
I'd like to dedicate a song to Mary Burchard.
Woo!
I think this is a request.
And you learn it?
I learned it.
Woo!
Well, you know, as much as writing it down and reading it off a piece of paper is learning it. Yeah. Crimson flames tried through my ears.
If you don't mind, Lou, let's hold back. Let's pretend this half the crowd are some serious Dylan fans, right? They're going to clap right when he does the intro chords. They know what's coming. They're ready for it. This side, they like Dylan, but really what they like is another person who loves Dylan, so they've been around a lot of Dylan, so they clap, but only when the lyrics come in. Are we ready for this? A little bit of fun? All right. I'm not sure Lewis is happy with it, though.
I mean, you know, you've totally thrown me off now, and I don't think I can play anymore.
I wouldn't blame you. I'd storm off if I were you.
Crimson flames tied through my ears, rolling high in mighty traps. I'm sorry, Mary. I just wanted to play a song for you. Countless fire on flaming roads, using ideas as my maps. We'll meet on the edges soon, said I, proud neath heated brow. Ah, but I was so much older then, I'm younger than that now. Half-rack prejudice leap forth, rip down all hate I screamed. Lies that life is black and white spoke from my skull I dreamed. Romantic facts of musketeers, foundation deep somehow. Ah, but I was so much older then, I'm younger than that now. Girls' faces form the forward path of phony jealousy, to memorizing politics of ancient history, flung down by corpse evangelists with the unthought of those somehow. Ah, but I was so much older then, I'm younger than that now. A self-ordained professor's tongue, too serious to fool, spouted out that liberty is just equality in school. Equality, I spoke the word as if a wedding vow. Ah, but I was so much older then, I'm younger than that now. In a soldier's stance, I aim my hand at the mongrel dogs who teach, fearing not I'd become my enemy in the instance that I preach. My pathway led by confusion boats, mutiny from stern to bow. Oh, but I was so much older then, I'm younger than that now. Yes, my guard had starred, my God stood hard with abstract threats, too noble to neglect. Deceive me into thinking I had someone to protect. Good and bad, I define these terms quite clear, no doubt somehow. Oh, but I was so much older then, I'm younger than that now. Happy birthday, Mary.
Yeah,
no, wait a minute,
Mary.
it's Bob's birthday.
If it wasn't for Mary, the String Band Jamboree would have been a lot worse between 05 and 11. We're waiting for her to move back to Bellingham. She's welcome anytime. She's out there in Colorado or something like that. We miss Mary. But this song goes out to Bill and Jenny, who are regular Subdued String Band Jamboree volunteers. And this is partially an announcement that there will be a Subdued String Band Jamboree this year. It'll be a limited audience. There will be plenty of breathing room.
Can I give you a demo to listen to, so maybe I could get on the bill?
I would love a demonstration cassette.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can do that. I got it all.
Tickets go on sale in 2 weeks. There's only 600 adult tickets and 250 children's tickets, so you might want to get one quick before they go away. What else do I have to tell you? We're doing the best we can. I know not everyone's going to be happy with the choices we made, but what the heck? We're having a jamboree as we crawl out of a pandemic, so I think it's going to be all right.
Get vaccinated.
Well, that's just it, you know, because you have to be vaccinated to come. That's the deal right there. Bill and Jenny are kitchen table irregulars, except they put their money where their mouth is, and they're not part of the system. They do not have a Facebook account. They pirate into Facebook. You don't have to have a Facebook account to watch the show on Facebook. And they don't tip us via PayPal because they don't want PayPal getting any percentage of their money. So they send us a check in the mail. That's fine. You can do that too. Any way you tip is good with me, you know, because when I go buy groceries, they don't care how I got that money. Bill wrote in saying, would you please do an early one, because Jenny was one of those that got pissed when Bob went electric. And I said, yeah, that adds up. They don't have a Facebook account. They won't use PayPal. Jenny's probably still pissed Bob went electric. She's holding on to that. This is kind of like just transitioning out of completely acoustic, but it's for Bill and Jenny nonetheless. And it was not on the list that they sent me. That's just the way it goes sometimes. We're so glad you're part of the kitchen table, Bill and Jenny, and everybody else who's out there, and everybody who's really here with us, and everybody who's not all there because we can't all be here. And everybody's not all here because we can't all be there. Ain't it hard to stumble, land in some funny lagoon? Ain't it hard to stumble and land in some funny lagoon? When it's 9 below zero and 3 o'clock in the afternoon, ain't gonna hang no picture, ain't gonna hang no picture frame, ain't gonna hang no picture, ain't gonna hang no picture frame. I might look like Robert Ford, but I feel just like Jesse James. I got my dark sunglasses, I got for good luck my black suit. I got my dark sunglasses, I got for good luck my black suit. Don't ask me nothing about nothing, I just might tell you the truth. Well, I wish that I was on some Australian mountain range. Oh, I wish that I was on some Australian mountain range. Got no reason to be there, but I sure could use a change. I got a woman in Jackson, I ain't gonna say her name. got a woman in Jackson. I ain't gonna say her name. She's a brown-skinned woman, and I love her more the same. First verse, ain't it hard to stumble, playing some fun to go. Woohoo! Ain't it hard to stumble, landing some fun to go. Hey! When it's 9 below zero and 3 o'clock in the afternoon. For Bill and Jenny.
Now I know why Jenny didn't like it when he went electric. One of the coolest Bob Dylan records in my collection is a record called Street Legal. Woo! And Robert played Senor off of that earlier. That was the album he made right before he went evangelical Christian. And it's a weirdly mystical album. And this is my favorite song off it. 16 years, 16 banners united over the fields where the good shepherd grieves desperate men, desperate women divided, spreading their wings neath the falling leaves. Fortune calls. I step forth from the shadows to the marketplace. Merchants and thieves hungry for power, my last deal gone down. She's smelling sweet like the meadow, oh, sweet like the meadow where she was born. On Midsummer's Eve near the tower, the cold-blooded moon, the captain waits above the celebration, sending his thoughts to the beloved maid whose ebony face is beyond communication. The captain is down, still believing that his love will be repaid. They shaved her head. She was torn between Jupiter and Apollo. The messenger arrived with a black nightingale. I seen her on the stairs. I couldn't help but to follow her down past the fountain where they lifted her veil.
Yeah.
I shuffled to my feet. I went past destruction in the ditches, with the stitches still mending neath the heart-shaped tattoo. Renegade priests and treacherous young witches were handing out flowers that I'd given to you. A palace of mirrors where dog soldiers are reflected, the endless road and the wailing of chimes, the empty rooms where her memory is protected, where angels' voices whisper to the souls of previous times. She wakes him up. 48 hours later, the sun is still breaking near broken chains. Mountain laurel and rolling rocks, she's begging to know what measure he will be taking. He's pulling her down and she's clutching to her long golden locks. Gentlemen, he said, I don't need your organization. I've shined your shoes. I've moved your mountains and marked your cards, but Eden is burning. Either brace yourself for elimination, or else your hearts must have the courage for the changing of the guards. Peace will come with tranquility and splendor on wheels of fire, but will bring us no reward when her false idols fall, and cruel death surrenders with its pale ghost retreating between the king and queen of swords. That one is really hard.
It's really hard. I tried to learn it. I could not. Next year,
It's about 8.5 minutes long.
Next year, we're looking forward to having Kevin Murphy be part of this Dylan show, and I mean it. We did a version of the show at the Thursday happy hour at Boundary Bay, but now we don't do that because we're not gathering in that way anymore. We're gathering slowly together in outdoor spaces where we can have a little more control over our situations. And looking around this room, I do want to say a few shout-outs. You know, it's not just that I'm going to take my portion of the tip money down to the community food co-op for my weekly groceries. I'm also going to take it down to the Old Town Cafe. This is the greatest cafe for musicians in the world, because if you're a musician, you can go and play for your meal at the Old Town Cafe. I've been all over this country, all kinds of places, and I've never met a place so welcoming to musicians as the Old Town Cafe. And I might take my dollar and I might buy a bottle down there at the Honeymoon Meadery. Has gone out of their way to create a space for musicians here in Bellingham, Washington. And I don't know if it's just that if you live out on Marine Drive, you get to start a business that's cool, or if you start a business that's cool, you end up on Marine Drive. I'm not sure about the connection of these two things. I'm just glad that I live in Bellingham, in the most northwest corner, the most northwest city, the most northwest state in the lower 48. That's Bellingham indeed, and everybody is welcome here at the kitchen table, and I'm very glad that I got a copy of Blood on the Tracks at some point in my life. They sat together in the park as the sky grew dark, as then he felt a spark tingle to his bones. As then he felt alone and wished that he'd gone straight, missed a simple twist of fate. They walked along by the old canal, a little confused, I remember well. Stopped into a strange hotel with a neon burning bright. Felt the heat of the night hit him like a freight move, like a simple twist of fate. Saxophone somewhere far off played, walking along by the old arcade. Saw the beggar there I got distracted because my daughter, who's 6 months old, is in the audience, and I looked out over her, and that's just it. I lost it altogether. Where were we now? The saxophone somewhere far off played. Walks along by the old arcade. Sun was coming through the beat-up shade as he was waking up. She throws a coin into a cup. A blind man at the gate forgets about a simple twist of fate. He woke up, the room was bare. He couldn't see her anywhere. He told himself he didn't care. Throw the window open wide. Felt an emptiness inside to which he just could not relate. Blame it all on a simple twist of fate. He hears the ticking of the clock, walks along with a pair that talks, down by the waterfront docks where the sailors all come in. Maybe she'll pick him out again. How long must he wait for another simple twist of fate? People say that it's a sin to know too much and feel within. I still believe she was my friend, but I lost the ring. She was born in spring, and I was born too late. Blame it all on a simple twist of fate.
You know, I always thought the talking parrot was a nice touch in that song. Hey, can I do something real quick?
Yes is the answer, and I have no idea what it is you're going to do.
Well, Bob Dylan's birthday is tomorrow.
80 years old. He keeps on making great music. Are we all just a little humbled? I'm a little humbled.
But
I'm inspired. I'm humbled.
Robert Blake's birthday is next week. And I brought you a present. Because Bob is not only a songwriter, he makes some very pricey hooch. And this is for you.
Ah.
The only thing, though,
Heaven's Door whiskey that Bob promotes.
he makes it in his bathtub.
Did he write me a little note?
The only thing is...
Blake, I've been following you. I know it hasn't been easy, but I think you're going to do better next time.
Yeah, they buy that.
Yeah.
So the only thing is you can't drink it today.
Alone.
You have to wait till tomorrow for Bob's birthday, or your own birthday, and I have to be there when we share a drink. But anyways,
Touche. Thank you, my friend.
actually maybe I don't, but just enjoy.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
So while we're on the subject, you know, when you do a Bob Dylan tribute show and you're left to your own devices, you pick the deep cuts, you know, because you want to show that you're like a real, you know that stuff, even though you got to bring a book with all the lyrics.
Yeah.
But, you know, we really know what people want to hear, because if anybody's ever been to a Bob Dylan show, the songs that get the biggest applause are the ones that we take the least seriously sometimes. But... because you know you love it. Well, they stone you when you're trying to be so good. Yeah, they stone you just like they said they would. Yeah, they stone you when you're trying to go home. Whoa. and they stone you when you're there all alone. Well, I would not be so all alone. I'm gonna learn it right here. Everybody must get stoned. Well, they stone you when you're walking down the street, and they stone you when you're talking on your seat, and they stone you when you're trying to on the floor. They're the hardest ones to play. Stone you when you're walking out the door. But I would not feel so all alone. Everybody, 1, 2, 3, 4. Everybody must get stoned. All right. They stone you when you're at your breakfast table. They stone you when you are young and able. And they'll stone you when you're trying to make a buck. They'll stone you and then they'll say good luck. Well, I would not feel so all alone. Everybody must get stoned. All right. Yeah, Lou. They'll stone you and they'll say it's the end, and they'll stone you and then they'll come back again, and they'll stone you in what seems like almost daily. They'll stone you when you play your ukulele. Yeah. Well, I would not feel so all alone. Ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Everybody must get stoned. They'll stone you when you're walking all alone, and they'll stone you when you're walking all the way home, and they'll stone you and then they'll say you are brave, and they'll stone you when you sit down and you'll bathe. Well, I would not feel so all alone. Everybody must get stoned.
I just looked at the time. Our 2 hours is coming to a close here. Lewis, why don't you do one more and then we'll wrap it up. I know you got a pile of them over there because you've had more years than me to get them all together. Well, I was just trying to look for an excuse.
And you found one.
Thank you, everybody, for being here at the kitchen table. Whether you are in Cincinnati, Ohio, or maybe you're in San Luis Obispo, California, you are always welcome. There's always room for one more at the kitchen table. Every Sunday, 5 to 7. That is Pacific Standard Time or Pacific Daylight Time. It's 5 o'clock Pacific Time. I'm just going to go 5 o'clock PT, 5 to 7. Every Sunday, we occasionally take a break, but I don't see a break in sight. So we are just rolling on down the line every Sunday. And next Sunday, let me tell you, my friends here, both on the line and on the patio grass field that we'll be doing a show. Karen Kunkel is our guest next week, and the show will be from The Roost, which if you don't know where The Roost is, it's on Franklin Street. That's all I'm going to tell you because we're not advertising where it is exactly. But there's room for many people because we're broadcasting from a front deck onto an area of a street where we're going to remove all the cars, which means there's room for people. So if you want to come to the show again, and the one and only mysterious Chartreuse? What's the word I'm looking for there?
That's green.
Yeah, I'm not Chartreuse then. Chartreuse. Chanteuse. The one and only Chanteuse, Karen Kunkel, will be there. Kevin, have you seen Karen Kunkel before? Oh, man. This is like this is needs to happen. Whether it happens next Sunday or not, I don't know. But the show rolls on. But my good buddy, Louis Ledford, who just gifted me this bottle of Heaven's Door from the one and only Bob Dylan. He made this in his kitchen sink, and now I have a bottle of it. Louis is going to do one, and then we're going to wrap this show up. Thanks for being here, everybody. We want to remind everybody in the live audience, it is a suggested $20 donation to be here. And if you've talked at any point during the show, that becomes a $40 donation. So just keep that in mind there. I think there's only 2 people who can keep it at 20. Absolutely our pleasure to be here. Just ribbing you a little bit. I love you. I love you. Louis, you got to kick in right when you do the rib like that.
Like, Don Rickles over here.
Well, you know, this crowd thinks with their pocketbook. I got an effect there.
Robert told his Bob Dylan story, how he was introduced to the great Bob Dylan, and I gotta say, probably my first exposure to Bob Dylan was from the movie Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, because my dad loved taking the family, especially the littlest kids, to inappropriate films with lots of violence. But, you know, it's another song that people don't think of as a deep cut, but man, when he plays this live, they go nuts. Mama, take this badge off of me. I can't use it anymore. It's getting dark, too dark for me. I feel like I'm knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Mama, take my guns and put them in the ground. I don't use it anymore. See, for me, her hair is hanging down. I feel like I'm knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Hey, hey, hey. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. 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 Hey, hey, hey. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. You like that one, huh? Axl sang that one, baby, I tell you.
Well, what other artist would have been covered by a hard rock band in the 90s? What other artist from the 60s was covered by a hard rock band from the 90s? That's a fun question, because there's others. I mean, I think that tune by Debbie Gibson, I Think We're Alone Now, was a previously recorded song.
Tommy James.
But we would not call Debbie Gibson hard rock by any stretch of the imagination.
Or Tommy James.
So we're going to wrap it up with this one. Thank you very much, everybody, for helping us celebrate Bob Dylan's 80th birthday party.
Happy birthday, Mr. D.
Happy birthday, Bob. I'm looking
Bob
forward.
Dylan.
Bob Dylan.
80 years old.
80 years old tomorrow. What would our culture be without him? We cannot imagine.
I would be lost.
Sending this one out to our good friends Andrew Calhoun and Aeneas Mitchell, both of whom have taken the time to actually learn the lyrics and not have to read them off the book like I'm going to right now. But one time at the Kerrville Folk Festival, very, very deep in the night, Kerrville Folk Festival is an 18-day folk festival. If you think you have fun at the Jamboree, go to the Kerrville Folk Festival and understand what it's like to have fun and then go to the dark side and then come out having fun again at the very same event. That's the Kerrville Folk Festival. 18 days in the Texas Hill Country, about 7 miles from Bush's ranch. It's an awkward experience, at least it was a few years ago, just slightly on that factor. Where are we? We're in the most northwest corner, the most northwest city, the most northwest state in the lower 48. Robert Sarazin Blake from the kitchen table every Sunday. We hope you join us. Again, whether it be in a spread out outdoor audience as we crawl out of this pandemic, or whether it be at your own kitchen table tuning in on a screen. And the reason you can watch on your screen is that my associate on my left, David Penderlofgren, connects the ones and the zeros, the cables and the dots and all the lines to bring us to you and you to us. Thanks to Kimberly for putting the drink choice together. I don't know what it's going to be next week, but if you join the Facebook group, the From the Kitchen Table Irregulars, you'll know what we're all drinking next week. We do know that next week is Memorial Day. We know that the concert's going to be coming from the porch of the Roost on Franklin Street. That's all that I'm telling you, but you're all welcome. If Bob Dylan had only written this one song, he would be just as important as he is today. And he wrote about 700 others just as good. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. I'm not sleepy and there is no place I'm going to. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. In the jingle jangle morning I'll come following you. Though I know that evening's empire has returned into sand, vanished from my hand, left me blindly here to stand, but still not sleeping. My weariness amazes me, I'm branded to my feet. I have no one to meet, and the ancient empty streets too dead for dreaming. Sing along at your table in Guelph. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. I'm not sleepy and there is no place I'm going to. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. In the jingle jangle morning I'll come following you. Take me on a trip on your magic swirling ship. My senses have been stripped, my hands can't feel to grip, my toes too numb to step. Wait only for my boat hill to be wandering. I'm ready to go anywhere, I'm ready for to fade into my own parade. Cast your dancing spell my way, I promise not to go wandering. Everybody! Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. I'm not sleepy and there is no place I'm going to. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. In the jingle jangle morning I'll come following. You want to take a verse? Which one? The next one. Which one is it?
Although you might be laughing, spinning, swingling madly across the sun, it's not aimed at anyone. I'm doing it like William Shatner. It's escaping on the run. Ah, but for the sky there are no fences facing. And if you hear vague traces of skipping reels of rhyme to your tambourine in time, it's just a ragged clown behind. I wouldn't pay it any mind. It's just a shadow that you're seeing that he's chasing.
Everybody! Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. I'm not sleepy and there is no place I'm going to. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. In the jingle jangle morning I'll come following you. Then take me disappearing through the smoke rings of my mind, down the foggy ruins of time, far past the frozen leaves, the haunted, frightened leaves, out to the windy beach, far from the twisted reach of crazy sorrow. If Bob Dylan had only written one line, he would be as important as he is right now. And if that one line was, are you with me? I mean, just stick with me here. Down the foggy ruins of time, past the...
I bet you there's a plane flying over with a Bob Dylan Heaven's Gate, not Heaven's Gate, Heaven's Door whiskey banner, you know, trailing behind it.
Far from the twisted reach of crazy sorrow. I'm going home. I'm going home. What am I doing here? Far from the twisted reach of crazy sorrow. There's a reason Bob Dylan chose Dylan as his last name. It's because of Dylan Thomas. When you read a little Dylan Thomas, you know that Bob Dylan really loved Dylan Thomas. And he read a lot of Dylan Thomas. And Dylan Thomas got inside of his body. And when Bob Dylan wrote songs, it came outside of his body in a way Dylan Thomas never could imagine. And then he added Robbie Robertson on electric guitar. And he added Al Cooper on the organ. And it got better. And it was that wild Mercury sound, far past the crazy reach of crazy sorrow. Just to dance beneath the diamond sky with a one hand waving free, silhouetted by the sea, with all memory and fate driven deep between the waves. Let me forget about today until tomorrow. Hey! Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. I'm not sleepy and there is no place I'm going to. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. In the jingle jangle morning I'll come following you. People say the Beatles songs are so wonderful because they can be listened to by children or teenagers or adults or senior citizens and still have a very captivating effect. I always felt this song is about wandering, about a phase of life where you're wandering for something new, wandering, not willing to get into the step of life, sort of a 15 to 25, maybe 35, maybe for members of this audience, 75 or 85 sort of way of thinking about life. But now that I'm a father, I realize the song is actually from the perspective of a 6-month-year-old. I'm not sleepy. Why do you want me to go to bed? I am not sleepy. I want to stay up. Why would I be sleepy? I'm not sleepy. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. I'm not sleepy and there is no place I'm going to. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. In a jingle jangle morning I'll come following you. And we can't imagine, but if we try, there actually was a world before the song Mr. Tambourine Man was written. Now we look at music and it's so foundational, it's like a G chord. It's just expect that it always has been there because it is so right. But there was a time before Mr. Tambourine Man was written. It's That is exactly why we celebrate Bob Dylan's 80th birthday right here. That's Louis Ledford on my right, David Penderlofgren on my left. Thanks for being with us. Every Sunday you can find us. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. I'm not sleepy and there is no place I'm going to. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. In the jingle jangle morning I'll come following you. Robert Sarazin Blake from the kitchen table. Louis Ledford right over there, our special guest. We'll see you next week.